Discovering Asian dramas back in 2018 was an enlightening moment for me, and I've never looked back. I enjoy talking about them just as much as watching them, so much so that I decided to create a podcast with a heavier focus on Chinese dramas, but passing through Korean, Japanese, Thai, and Filipino dramas. Welcome to the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast, your corner for drama talking. For more tea and soju content, consider joining Patreon, where I release extra reviews and polls. Everything is linked in the episode description. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and today's episode comes from two patrons over on Patreon for the Tea and Soju Patreon page, and they are Sousa and Purple Dinosaurs. Thank you very much for your suggestion. Basically, they kind of suggested that it would be fun to listen to what some of my favorite dramas are in different genres, but also get to know me almost through the tropes that I enjoy to watch. So I kind of combined both of their suggestions and thought it would be quite fun to do a series on like some of my favorite tropes. So that's what this is. Today's episode will be the first in an ongoing series. I seem to have quite a few ongoing series in general. Maybe I should call them something else. I don't know. Beginning episode musings, so to speak. But basically along the, year, however long I'm doing the pod, I'll be picking up some tropes that I really enjoy and then kind of pulling at dramas that I really enjoy that have done those tropes, or that the main focus is that trope to begin with. And I think this may eventually cross over because I'm also going to be picking up either this month or next month. I'll be going back to do my favorites within a genre series. So there might be a little bit of crossover there. But luckily, there's like some dramas that kind of are within that genre, but they don't really fit the trope episodes. So hopefully this way, by doing a different range of, trope-based episodes and genre-based episodes, I can kind of like give you guys a wider suggestion, and then you can just sort of get to know me in a sense of what I look for in dramas. There is a caveat to that, and the fact is that I've been watching dramas since 2018, so it's been a while. So you will see, especially I kind of came across this when I was doing my episode notes for this episode, and but what happened was I realised that for the particular trope that I was talking about in today's episode, which is contract marriages or, fake relationships, that sort of trope. That's the trope I'm going to be chatting over today in today's episode. And the thing was, I realised that a lot of my favourites kind of come from 2020, 2021, 2022 era. And I was going through my drama list, and it seems like early on in my watching, I didn't really watch a lot of those. So I feel like this will be quite interesting also, because doing these series will kind of show me how much my viewing patterns have changed in a sense, because I think this happens to everyone at some point. If you've been watching for long enough, at the beginning you kind of watch everything and anything, and you want to complete everything, and because everything's so shiny and new, and you get really excited. But then as time goes on, you start to sort of like pick at things. I've noticed it way more ever since I started doing the podcast, because I kind of like, as soon as I realize I'm really enjoying a drama, I kind of like start to pay a little bit more attention, because it may be one that I'd like to review for the podcast, or I'd like to add it, as a final sort of mini review for the Patreon, whichever it may be. you know, that's, I've started to sort of look a little bit closer at dramas. And that means that my viewing experience now is completely different to my viewing experience even a year ago, let alone, you know, 5 years ago, from when I started watching Asian dramas, you know, in the first place. So I reckon that's quite interesting to sort of like just look back at what you used to enjoy, and does it still stand true that you still enjoy it now? Is that like whether it be a trope or a genre or something particular in, you know, Asian dramas, is that something that you still go back to? I find it really interesting when you kind of like sit, you know, with that and sort of look back and realize that like your viewing might have changed. You might have gone from somebody who used to be a binge watcher to somebody who prefers on-air dramas, or, you know, a mix of both. And there's so many ways and like that people watch dramas and that people enjoy dramas, and I find that that's like a really interesting conversation to have between people, because there is no wrong or right answer at all. It's just, you know, how we enjoy them. So yeah, getting back, that was a little bit off track, but getting back to today's episode, how I thought would be quite fun to do this is that throughout the year I'll drop a couple of these episodes, you know, whether it be a trope episode or a genre episode. But I thought it'd be quite fun to make like polls to ask listeners what they would like to, you know, for me to cover next, whether it be the genre or, you know, what's the word? A trope. Oh my God, I completely forgot the word there for a second. But yeah, I think that will be quite fun to sort of get you guys involved. And, you know, it may be that first I take, you know, suggestions on genres or tropes or whatever, or it may be that I just do a poll on, you know, maybe Instagram, very much likely on Patreon. I will do, because I do a few polls over on Patreon, you know, between choices of what people would like me to review and stuff on there. And I think it'd be quite fun, you know, to poll, you know, maybe 2 different tropes or 2 different genres and see what people would like to listen to. So that's how basically this, you know, series will work. And it, like I said, it'll sort of work in tangent with the genre series, because sometimes there's some tropes that are very much, you know, interlinked within a series. So within a genre, I mean, you're probably not going to get contract or fake relationships, you know, in a serious thriller. I mean, it could happen. Can we make our own drama? I mean, it could happen, but that's like unlikely for it to happen. You're probably going to be seeing it, you know, in the romance rom-com kind of genre. So there may be a little bit of crossover when I come around to do the romance genre episode, which I think I'm pretty close to doing. I think that may be upcoming maybe in April. I think that's when I've got it down to do that episode. And I just think, you know, sometimes it'll be quite fun doing it this way, because you can kind of cover, you know, more ground, more dramas. And yeah, that's basically it for this intro. I hope you guys will enjoy this series. Please let me know if it's something you're excited to listen to, if it's something that you'll enjoy listening to. Again, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys enjoy the pod, please make sure to, you know, review or leave a rating wherever you listen. That really does help the pod to kind of like do well, and so that other people can sort of come across it and also enjoy it. And then we can keep building this little community that we've got going. And then if you'd like to go beyond that, there is the Patreon. I do, you know, mini series reviews on there. I do first impressions on there and last impressions to dramas that I may not, you know, mention at all on the main pod. So if that's something that you would like to do, I'll leave everything linked up down in the description notes. And that is it. That is all the intro out of the way. So we can go ahead and get straight into the episode. So for this first trope episode, like I mentioned in the intro, I'm going to be doing a contract marriage. I'm going to include contract relationships in that as well, because it doesn't necessarily always mean contract marriages. And actually, a lot of the ones that I have listed down aren't necessarily contract marriages. They're more like, you know, your fake relationships, that sort of thing. And what I mean by that is when basically through shenanigans, our main couple kind of sign a contract to, you know, either be in a fake marriage or in a fake relationship. And the caveat is always that whatever we do, we cannot fall in love. And, you know, we all know how it works. They are obviously going to fall in love. That's, you know, just how this trope works. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever watched one of these where the main couple doesn't end together. And I kind of wonder, have you ever come across one where it does actually turn out that the main couple that entered the contract kind of didn't end up together? Because that would be really interesting. That would be such like a different wild take. At the end of the day, I don't think that's why people who enjoy this genre kind of watch it. But it'd still be interesting to know if there is actually a drama out there that has dared to go in that route. So if you have, please DM me on Instagram or, you know, Twitter or wherever, email, whatever, and let me know if you have come across one of these, because I would find that really, well, I'm not sure how it would work, but you never know. There might be one out there, and with, you know, you guys all listening, maybe somebody has come across one. So please let me know, because I would definitely be interested to find that out. And I'd be really curious to watch it just to see like how it would make me feel, that I would go in and be like, you know, but at least I would be expecting, in the case, like if somebody were to tell me, oh, they're not going to end up together, then, you know, I kind of can shift and adjust my expectations of the drama. But can you imagine going into one of these and then like the main couple not ending together? I would feel like that was such a whiplash. I would feel, I think I'd feel a little bit out of it, because that's not what I expect out of these dramas. But anyways, that's, you know, the main premise for this trope. I feel like this is one of those tropes that you either really like or you don't, you know, it's a trope you don't enjoy at all. For me, it's one of those that I don't think I watched that much early on in my watching, but now as soon as I hear contract marriage, I'm like, I'm in, because they tend to be like quite fun to watch for me. So that's why I quite enjoy them. So in this episode, I'm actually going to talk about dramas from various Asian countries. So that's quite exciting. So we've got some Korean dramas, we've got some Filipino dramas, we've got some J-dramas, and obviously Chinese dramas, because it wouldn't be a me episode if I'm not, you know, mentioning at least one Chinese drama. So that's quite exciting. I think the only one I didn't pick up on was Thailand, which is a little bit sad. I should have looked for one that I've watched, but now thinking about it, I can't actually remember watching none coming like the top of my head, you know, about fake relationships or fake contract marriages within Thai dramas that I've watched. If it's something you watch, let me know your, you know, one that you really, really, really enjoy out of Thailand, because I feel like I would have loved to have completed this list. And now looking at it, I'm a little bit sad that I didn't have one from Thailand. But, you know, it is what it is. And that is it. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. And the first drama on my list, I'm sure will be no stranger to pretty much anybody, because it was a hit sensation last year, and that is the Korean drama Business Proposal. Like I said, it is from 2022 and it stars Hyo-sup as Kang Tae-mo, Kim Se-jong as Shin Hari, Kim Min-gyu as Cha Song-hoon, and Sol In-ah as Jin Yong-so. And this is a Netflix production. I believe it is 12 episodes, so that's a pretty good length. I feel like dramas that do, the 12 episode for Korean dramas, some of them just work so well at, 12 episodes. And this was one of those that, really worked very well at 12 episodes. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this drama, mainly because I feel like lots of people have watched it. And also, I did mention this did make the best of the best for K-dramas for me for last year. So I've already mentioned and talked about it there on that episode. So, I really loved it. I feel like the chemistry between the main couple was really good, but also the chemistry between the secondary couple was really good. And that's one of the things I absolutely love when dramas don't necessarily need to have like a love triangle. They mainly have like two couples. I feel like we get even more out of them because, we don't have to stress about the second male lead, or we don't have to stress about second lead syndrome, because they both have their own love stories, and I feel like that for me personally just works so great. I feel like with this one, the comedy was on peak. It was just like so good, and I have to mention Kim Se-jong. Her comedic timing is hilarious. So I laughed so much. This again was one of my favorites from last year. I ended up scoring it a 9 out of 10 on MDL, so that's a really good score for me in general. There's not a lot to say about this one. So yeah, I will move right along to my second drama, and that is the Chinese drama Unforgettable Love, and that's from 2021, and it stars Wei Ziming as He Qiaoyan, Hu Yi Xuan as Jin Yi Yu, and Lennon Sun as Hugh Wei Fei, or as he's lovably known, Xiao Bai. And basically, he is the damn most adorable kid on this planet. At least, for this drama, he's so stinking adorable that he's like stealing the scenes from adults, and adults are just like, that's fine, go ahead, steal the scene, I don't mind. Because it's just, I watched so many behind the scenes of this, and like Wei Ziming, the male lead, he's like always having so much fun with our with Lennon's son, and their behind the scenes are just so adorable to watch. They really did build that connection, and it really translated very, very well onto screen. So yeah, actually, let me tell you what this drama is about. So basically, the MDL description reads, the drama revolves around He Qiaoyan, CEO of He Group, and Qin Yiyu, a child psychologist. It tells the story of a rational and indifferent man and soft, optimistic, considerate, and meticulous psychologist whose relationship develops from acquaintance to love. Now, I don't think that's that deep in terms of what the story is about. So basically, we have our male lead, and there was an accident. He had a brother, and basically that brother had a little kid, and that's, Xiao Bai, the little, kid that's in the drama. There was an accident, and the father and mother of Xiao Bai basically passed away. Now, the male lead gets to take care. He's like, I'll take care of him. So he takes Xiao Bai as his own son. But Xiao Bai kind of has difficulties in terms of he doesn't really want to talk. He's like traumatized by his parents' death. So he doesn't really talk. And our male lead is the typical, kind of cold male lead. And he doesn't quite know. He's kind of like been thrust into this world because his brother used to run the company and he used to do a lot of the things. And then all of a sudden his brother is not there to take care of his son or to take care of the company. And the male lead kind of has to step up into that role very, very quickly. Now, our female lead, kind of comes in, and I'm not going to tell you why, but for some reason, Xiao Bai just calls her mum, like, straight away. And for some reason, like, he connects her with his mum, and there's, a whole backstory to that. Now, I will caveat this drama with one thing. If you are very picky with, your medical part of the drama being very realistic, being very on page and, being very, very down to, accurate, this ain't the drama for you, because this is, the psychology in it and, like, the medical, perhaps, I'm not sure how to explain it, but she does get very, very close to Xiaobai, and Xiaobai is, her patient. So, it does go a little bit wild, but basically, our male lead kind of hires her to be Xiaobai's, like, psychologist, because she seems to be able to bring out Xiaobai, and to, he starts talking for the first time and starts saying words. There is, again, a whole backstory, and then shenanigans ensue, and they happen to become, like, they enter a contract marriage, or is it a contract marriage or a fake relationship? It's one or the other, and I can't quite remember. I watched this quite a while ago, but I do remember I really, really, really loved it, and so much so that actually I was watching it with not so great subtitles, because it's a Mango TV drama and the subtitles were horrendous. And if you guys know me, you know that I am very picky with subtitles. I think eventually I did swap over to watch on, like, a fan site that was subbing it, and I kind of watched it there instead, because I just couldn't deal with subs that were that bad. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. You get, like I said, the most adorable kid. And there's, like, just scenes of, like, the male lead and Xiaobai, like, dressed similarly, looking really cool. So it's really a lot of fun. I actually ended up scoring this one an 8 out of 10. And in general, I just really, really loved it. I thought it was done really well. You get, like, the cute little family in a sense. And then you do get to see, like, the story develop, what happened to our male lead's brother, why Xiaobai has, like, a connection to our female lead. There's a whole backstory to it. So overall, I thought it was done really, really well. This one is 24 episodes, so not too long in the grand scheme of things. And it is available on Viki, on iQIYI, and on WeTV. And I believe it may be available on YouTube as well. But if you guys have subscriptions to those sites, then it is available on any three of those, so you can take your pick. So next up, for my favourite contract / relationship fake trope, we're going back to Korea, and it is a 2021 drama, and it's called So I Married an Anti-Fan, and it stars Choi Tae-jun as Hoo-jun, Choi Soo-young as Lee-gun-young. And this one is available on iQIYI only in some places, but it is widely available on Viki. Now, the main plot of the story is that our male lead is quite a cold, superstar, very big superstar, and like K-pop idol, I would think. And basically, through shenanigans, our female lead ends up being labeled as his anti-fan, and they keep going at each other's throats. They are basically like enemies from day one. And then the story leads into, to kind of get them away from this narrative, they are both, there's, some controversy brewing. So they are kind of made to go on a, variety show, and it's kind of called Newlyweds or something like that. And basically they, kind of have to pretend that they are in a contract relationship. So that's how the story basically goes. This is a very old-fashioned kind of very trope heavy drama. So it came out in 2021, but I believe it was recorded either in 2018 or 2019. So it feels like one of those older K-dramas full of tropes. but it just came at the right time, and everybody kind of jumped on the train and really enjoyed it. And there's this bloody one song that, you know, our male lead keeps singing over and over and over again. And I swear to God, by the end of this drama, I was singing along to this tune because it just got stuck in your head constantly. And I think it's called You're My Superstar or something like that. Off the top of my head, I can't remember it now. It's been a while since I watched this because I watched this back in 2021. I can't believe it's been that long already. But yeah, I was watching this while it was on air, and it was just one of those dramas that I kept going back to and having so much fun with because it was so trope heavy, but it didn't take itself seriously. So yeah, it worked out pretty well. I believe this one is 16 episodes. So yeah, 16 episodes. Along, but again, it works really, really well. I ended up scoring it an 8 out of 10. I just thought it came at a time where I think if I'm remembering correctly, at the time it came out, there was a lot of like you know, more serial killer stuff, you know, thrillers coming out and all of that. And so this one just kind of like smoothed everything over because I really do enjoy a good trope heavy drama. It felt like a throwback, but done for the 21st century. So it worked kind of well. And like I said, it was filmed back in either 2018 or 2019. So, but it aged all right because it wasn't that old, you know, 2, maybe 3 years old by the time it aired. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. I really enjoyed it. I also, by that time it came out, I was already part of like the Discord group, so we ended up chatting for ages about this drama, and kind of like lots of different people were watching it and having fun with it. So I think maybe if that wasn't the case, maybe I wouldn't have such high regards for this drama. You know, I do completely claim that because so many of us were watching it at the same time and having so much fun with it, it kind of like increases your enjoyment of the show. So who knows, but I'm never going to be able to separate that from the drama. So, you know, it just kind of comes pair and pair. So yeah, I did end up scoring this one an 8 out of 10, which is pretty good. I think all of these I scored them 8 or above, which is, you know, pretty good for my scale. That's, you know, dramas that I would already recommend to others. I enjoyed them fairly. There was a couple of problems here and there, but on my scale, it tends to be dramas that I enjoyed really well and that I would happily recommend to others. So yeah, that was So I Married an Anti-Fan. Again, just a reminder, if you want to check any of these out and, you know, you forget one that I mention, all of these notes are available on the blog, and that always gets linked down in the description below in the episode notes, so you can kind of go and check in and see which, you know, dramas I mentioned, if you want to check any of them out but you can't quite remember. If you don't have access to that, just drop me a message. I'm always more than happy to go in and, you know, check the notes myself. I can, you know, I have them on Google Docs, so I can very quickly log in and check them out and get back to you. So yeah, that was just an aside. Anyways, so for next up, we're going to Japan, and this is the drama. It's called Shanai Marriage Honey, and this is a 2020 drama, and it stars, now guys, my pronunciation isn't great most of the time, but I feel like for Japanese it struggles even more, so but I'm going to try my best. So it stars Itagaki Mizuki as Mizura Manatsu, and it also stars Matsui Airi as Haruta Ami, and this one is available on Viki. Now, I believe when this one first came out, it wasn't available anywhere, and it was kind of like everybody kind of wanted to watch it, but it wasn't available anywhere, and then Viki finally kind of like brought it, you know, made it available, and it, you know, people got to watch it, and it was so much fun. So basically, I'm this one, I'm just going to read the MDL description. Does a pretty good job at describing it. So I'm just going to read what the MDL description for it is. It says, Miura Manatsu is a young office worker who finds himself in a quandary. His mother is suffering from ill health, and he believes that getting married will be a good way to bring some cheer to her and help her recovery. The only problem is he doesn't have a girlfriend, so he downloads a dating app and starts looking for potential partners. Another of the app's users is Haruta Ami, a woman who has been struggling to get over her ex and has resolved to dive headlong into a new relationship in order to forget her former flame. The two meet online and decide to get married in a hastily arranged ceremony, barely knowing anything about one another. But there's a hitch. Little did they know, but they are actually workmates, and as they neglected to tell their co-workers that they were getting married, their relationship becomes an awkward secret. Little by little, they get to know each other and start to discover that despite the unconventional nature of their marriage, true love might not be completely out of reach after all. So that's a really good summary for that. And I just really adored this drama. It was like really sweet, really, an ambulance just went by, in case you guys heard that, so that's thrown me completely off. But anyways, I really enjoyed this one. It's kind of like the type that they kind of enter it completely not knowing anything about each other, and they kind of find out that they work together, and it kind of goes from there. What I really enjoyed about this drama, this is a really, really short, pleasant watch. It is only 7 episodes, and they're about 25 minutes each. I don't rewatch, but like when I was doing the notes for this episode, I was like, I don't really remember much about this drama anymore. I remember really, really loving it, but I don't remember a lot of it. And I kept thinking, oh, maybe I should like go in and do a rewatch. And I think I might do that just because I remember really enjoying this one. And because it kind of like they don't start off as enemies or anything like that at all. They start off as just two people who kind of like, they just want to get married. They just want to get it over and done with. So they have their own reasons for wanting to get married. And they do, but they kind of like, as we learn about the characters are kind of like learning about each other as well. So it works out really, really well because you see them going from like complete strangers to like friends and then to like something more. And that's like where that appreciation and their friendship kind of like blossoms into love, and it's all while they're married. But there's not really a lot of like any bickering or anything like that. It's just like a straightforward, really sweet romance. So yeah, that's Shanghai Marriage, honey. And yeah, I highly recommend it. I ended up giving this one an 8 out of 10 again, and it's available on Viki. Like I said, 7 episodes of about 25 minutes each, so really, really easy watch. You can do that in one sitting, or, a couple of hours. If you just want a little breather from whatever you're watching, this will work out perfectly for that. So it's still, I may go back and rewatch it. I don't really rewatch, but this one's a really short one, so I may go back and do that. Now, the next one may be one that maybe not as familiar. I have mentioned it on the pod before. I'm not sure when, but I'm pretty sure I have mentioned it once or twice. It may have made my best of the best episode from other Asian countries. I can't quite remember, but that is the 2022 Filipino drama How to Move On in 30 Days. And this one stars Maris Racal as Jen Agbasit and Carlo Aquino as Franco Sibian. This one is available on YouTube, so it's really, really easy to get a hold of. It is, 60 episodes, but each episode is only about 15 minutes. So I find that this type of drama kind of really works well for like a lunchtime watch, or if you just, have a little spare minute and you don't quite have enough time to fit in a full drama or a full episode or whatever, you can just like munch at these episodes. They're really, easy digestible. And actually it says 15 minutes, but I would say that on the episodes themselves are only about maybe 10-12 minutes each, because you have like the beginning credits and the ending credits, and there's like a little very short minute, 30-second, 45-second recap at the beginning of the episode. So in reality, I would say they're only about 10 minutes. But basically the MDL description reads, unceremoniously, I cannot say that word. Basically, our female lead gets dumped by her boyfriend. Jen vows to herself she'll move on within 30 days. She chronicles her journey of heartbreak on her vlog. Next, she hires Franco to be her pretend boyfriend, thinking this will help her healing process. After a month of trying to bury the past, can Jen move on, or will her efforts prove futile? That's basically the drama. So our female lead is like, she has basically, so her ex-partner is basically like a YouTube, celebrity of sorts, and he's done really well for himself. But what people don't see is actually he's done that well because Jen, our female lead, is ridiculously good at her job, and she's kind of like made his career, in a sense. She's the one behind the scenes kind of like moving everything so that his career can flourish. He basically kind of like doesn't see that, or at the beginning he used to, but he kind of like ends up not seeing that in her anymore and not appreciating what she does for him. So he actually ends up dumping her for someone who's, more popular on camera and everything like that. So not the best reasons at all. And she's completely heartbroken because she was really in love with him. So she's very, very heartbroken at this point. And she's like, I can't do this. I just want to move on. And she downloads this app. And this app is like supposed to help you move on from a relationship within however the amount of time that you put into the app. And basically she says, I will move on in 30 days. And that's, the test. And every day the app will check in and it'll send you like little reminders. Oh, don't text him, or, go do this for yourself, or go do that. And it's actually really cool how it works in the show. And it's kind of like she goes back to her hometown and she kind of hires Franco. Well, actually her friends hire Franco to be like a date for her, just so she can go out and kind of like, see what's out there, to help her along in her moving on journey. And then she ends up, hiring Franco to be her, fake boyfriend, basically. And they kind of, the relationship kind of blossoms from there. And she goes back to her hometown, away from the big city. And she kind of like rediscovers herself in this journey of like moving on from her ex-partner and from the life that she thought she was going to have, into this, discovering herself and building her own platform, her own place to be. And I just really, really loved our female lead. Like, Jen is great. And like, her story is so relatable, because who the heck hasn't had their heart broken at some point by somebody and found it really difficult to move on? And like, it's her whole journey. You kind of like, not only do you have to mourn the relationship you had, but you kind of also have to mourn the future that you had already imagined in your head. And she kind of like goes through all of those emotions, and I just really, really loved it. I thought it was done really well, especially for kind of like a short series as it is, because like I said, very short format series. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. This was actually the first Filipino. Oh, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, because is Game Boys Filipino? I think it might be. In case if Game Boys is Filipino, and I think it is, then this was the second Filipino drama that I watched, and I really enjoyed it. So I do want to go and watch some more. I ended up giving this one an 8 out of 10, and actually I watched it, late last year, and I still remember a lot of it. This was on air from April 2022 to June 2022, and actually I still remember a lot of the details from the story. So it really did, work quite well for me. So that was How to Move On in 30 Days. This one, again, only available on YouTube, but it's pretty easy, so I definitely recommend this one. Next up on my favourite contract marriage, contract relationship trope series is the drama Begin Again, and that is a 2020 Chinese drama. It stars Zhu Yutong as Lu Fangning, Gong Jun as Ling Hui, and this is available on WeTV, iQIYI, Viki, and YouTube. It's available in a bunch of places, which really, well, it doesn't bug me, but when this first came out, it wasn't available anywhere. Nowhere was subbing it, and I was dying to watch it because I really enjoy Gong Jun. I really enjoy Zhu Yutong. I think she's done pretty well in her roles. So I was getting so frustrated because, again, this is a Mango TV drama, and as soon as I see, whenever I go into MDL and I look at a drama, you know, one that's upcoming or whatever, and I see Mango TV on it, I cry a little bit on the inside because their subs are terrible. I am dreading it because actually the new drama from Bailu and Wang Hedi, Only for Love, it is a Mango TV drama, and I'm like dying a little bit on the inside because I'm just praying that either Viki or somewhere picks it up, because Mango TV is known for their atrocious subs. Now I'm hoping that they know they've got gold on their hands by having a drama that stars Bailu and Wang Hedi, and that they just sub it for international fans. And by sub it, I mean actually sub it, not auto-translate it. But we shall see. I'm completely going off topic here. One can hope we'll have good subs for that. But that was my experience with it. I really wanted to watch it. And again, fan subs came through because I started watching it elsewhere on a fan page with really good subs. I am quite lucky because I will say this. So because obviously my main language is Portuguese, that's, you know, my sorry, I have a bit of a cold, so I have a bit of a sniffle. Anyways, my main language is Portuguese, and Brazilian fans are really, really great at subbing stuff. So a lot of the time, not now. Now it's pretty rare that there is a drama that I want to watch that isn't available somewhere. But back, you know, a couple of years ago, sometimes there were some dramas that just wouldn't be available anywhere. But luckily, like, Brazilian fans are some of the best fans out there, and they would sub a lot of stuff. Now, obviously, they wouldn't sub it in English, they would sub it in Portuguese, which was really, really bizarre because I've always watched all of my entertainment with English subtitles. So, you know, I could get around it, and if I really wanted to watch a drama, then I would have that as a backup. So it's really good to have, you know, that in my back pocket, that I can go and find it subbed in Portuguese if I really need to. But yeah, I think that's how I started watching this drama. And then finally, somewhere, I can't remember which one of the platforms ended up having subs for this, and, you know, we were able to watch it. But basically, the story is, as MDL tells it, it tells the story of a domineering female CEO and a warm doctor who turn a fake relationship into reality due to practical reasons. Having exchanged their I do's, they start on a new chapter of their lives as they learn to fall in love. Lu Fangning is the general manager of Lu Ning Group, a large corporation in the business of home furniture. Lu Fangning is a woman who has it all, talented, beautiful, and rich. Nearing her 30s, Lu Fangning succumbs to family pressures and decides that she urgently needs a husband with whom she will have a child. Coincidentally, surgeon Ling Hui appears in front of her. Ling Hui is not only blessed with good looks, but also has an angelic heart, which makes him the perfect candidate in the eyes of Lu Fangning. She schemes her way into his life, and they finally become husband and wife. Lu Fangning eventually realizes the error in her ways and strives to be better. However, keeping a marriage is not as easy as it seems. Now, that is a pretty good plot summary, but what I will say, one of the reasons that it made me love this drama so much, not only is it a fake contract marriage, but it's the fact that, I'm not sure if you picked up on it, but while reading the description for the characters are not your typical description. So usually the male lead is the cold, you know, CEO, marshmallow on the inside, cold on the outside, you know, very up to do about, you know, life and whatever. And the female lead is the sunny, bright personality. Now, in this drama, those roles are reversed. Our female lead is the badass, CEO, cold female lead, all of that. And the male lead is like the nice, sweet, doctor. So he's still, a doctor, but he's like, the nice, very angelic, as it reads in the description, angelic heart. And, he's the nice one and she's the cold one. And that's not usually the trope. The trope usually works the other way around. And that alone made me love this drama so much because it was like a role reversal. And we don't see it very often, but I absolutely loved to see it in this one. And it worked really well. The chemistry between Gong Joon and Zhu Yutong is so good. It worked so well for this. So yeah, I absolutely loved these two together. And now this drama is available on iQIYI. It's available on WeTV, on Viki, on the Mango TV YouTube channel. It is available in a bunch of places. So this one is a little bit longer, 35 episodes. About 40 minutes each episode. But if you like fake contract marriages, this is definitely one of my favorites. I still very much remember a lot of scenes from it. And, I really, really enjoyed it. I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10. So that's a pretty good score. And, in general, one of the things that I loved about this one, again, is that, role reversal of the female being the cold CEO and the male lead being like the nice, sweet one. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So next up on my, fake marriage contract relationships sort of trope episode is a Chinese drama again, and that is the 2020 Chinese drama Intense Love. And this one stars Zhang Yuxi as Su Jinbei and Ding Yuxi as Dr. Zhu Shi-yun. Now, this one is available on WeTV, on Viki, and on Prime Video. Prime Video, funnily enough, has a bunch of Chinese dramas. So sometimes if you want to check something out, check it on there because it may very well be on Prime Video. And if you've already got that subscription, if you've already got access to Amazon Prime anyways, you might as well check it on there. Now, this one, I roughly remember what it is about, but again, I'm just going to read the MDL description so I don't misremember anything. So it tells a love story between a genius doctor and an actress who are two people who both refuse to have their marriage arranged by their parents, yet realize that love is destined. Actress Su Junbei has a beauty that can defy the heavens. With her popularity on the rise, she is used to being the center of attention. However, the dark side to fame means that she's a magnet for controversy. She may be the best at flirting, but she doesn't get any further and has been single since birth. Zhu Shi-yun is a genius doctor with looks, money, and smarts. He is a perfectionist who likes to be in control, but doesn't care much for many things, as he can be quite indifferent. Women flock around him in droves and he doesn't bat an eye. Instead of the usual overbearing CEO that falls for the woman, it's the actress who takes the initiative in love. Now, that is the key point of why I absolutely loved this drama. It is the female that does a lot of the chasing for the male lead. And that's, that can happen, but it's not something that we see all the time. And I kind of like it when it's a woman that sees a man that she's interested in and kind of goes for it. And our female lead definitely does that. So basically, what they find out is that eventually they find out that their parents kind of like were friends. And if they always said, if, one of us has a boy and one of us has a girl, we wouldn't it be fun to get them married? And they kind of like arrange their marriage in that sense. But our male lead and our female lead are like, no, not happening. We're not doing an arranged marriage. It's not going to happen. Little did they know that that's exactly who they are supposed to be with, and they end up falling in love anyways. So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one. Again, this one's great because only 24 episodes of about 40 minutes each. Again, one of the things that I really, really loved about this drama was because our female lead just took the initiative, and I felt like there was a lot of growth for both our characters, and they kind of like learn. They are, very kind of new to relationships, and they kind of like work their way through the maze together. So I really, really enjoyed it. There was growth between them, individually, but also growth of them as, a partnership being formed. So I really enjoyed that. I scored this one an 8 out of 10. And yeah, you can find this one in various places. So, Prime Video, WeTV, Viki, again, the Mango TV channel on YouTube. I'm guessing this one has better subs now. I think when Mango tends to, they tend to sub it, but they just tend to sub it like years later. I don't know if they go get the subs from somewhere else. I don't know, but it is available there. I can't guarantee quality subs. So I would say if you've got, any of the other platforms, if you want to check this one out, I would definitely go check it out, in any of those other platforms. So next up for my trope episode is a 2020 drama. Again, I've just realized that I have just had almost 4 2020 dramas. Clearly 2020 was the year for fake marriage contract relationship dramas, at least from Chinese drama land, because the last couple of ones, all of the ones that I have until the end of the episode now are all Chinese dramas. But so this one, again, Chinese drama, 2020, and it's called Oh My Sweet Liar. It is a period set drama. That means, it's period costume. And this one stars Xia Ning-jun as Lee Hong-bin and Shizi as Xiong Shu-ru. This one is available on Viki and YouTube. And yeah, so the MDL description reads as Xiong Shu-ru is a young female painter who infiltrates the family home of the powerful Lee family to paint a copy of a precious item. However, her escape from the Lee home goes horribly wrong, and she finds her fate at the mercy of the Lee family heir, Lee Hong-bin. On the verge of arrest, Lee Hong-bin and Xiang Shu-ro hatch a lie. They pretend that she is pregnant with his child. This arrangement suits Lee Hong-bin fine, as marriage with Xing Shu-ru will help him escape an arranged marriage with the daughter of the Song family, a union he is particularly keen to avoid. The Lee family grants its consent for Lee Hong-bin and Xiong Shu-ru to get married, but it's not long before some relatives and the plotting of the Song family begin to suspect that pregnancy is fake. So basically, not only do we have a contract marriage, but we also have a fake pregnancy in this one. Like, the tropes in this one are so full, and I found the female lead in this absolutely hilarious. She was so funny. And then the male lead is the very, very typical, very cold male lead. But I actually really enjoyed his development because by the end of it, he's like an absolute puppy and he absolutely adores his wife and just wants to do everything by his wife. So seeing that progress was kind of hilarious, and seeing the shenanigans that they have to go through to keep up these lies, it's so funny. It's so funny because basically they kind of spent the night together, but they haven't done anything. So they clearly know that there is no baby, but they're just trying to get out of a sticky situation that they got themselves into. And, it works really well. So this one is 29 episodes. It is a yoku drama, but like I said, it's available in a bunch of places. By bunch of places, I mean YouTube and Viki. And yeah, each episode's about, again, 40 minutes. So if you're feeling the particular want for something that's pretty light-hearted, quite funny, and period set for fake contract marriage and fake pregnancy for this one, we get a 2-in-1. I would definitely recommend this one. So it's called Oh My Sweet Liar. And did I say? I can't remember, but I said I scored this one an 8 out of 10. I feel like I've scored pretty much all of these an 8 out of 10, except Business Proposal that I rated slightly higher. So I feel like that might be the sweet spot, clearly. So next up is, again, another 2020 drama, again, another period set drama, and it's called General's Lady, and it stars Tang Min as Shen Jin and Caesar Wu as Chu Shi-ming, and this one is available on Viki, Youku, and YouTube, and basically the MDL description is pretty short and sweet, so I'll just use that. Again, I watched a couple of these a while ago, so whenever I do these, if it's something that's pretty recent, I will tend to just explain, the drama plot for myself. But if it's something that I've watched a while ago, I do tend to prefer to read my drama list description, just because that will be a lot more concise and I won't be misremembering anything. So for this one, General's Lady, it says a notorious general and an aristocrat's daughter hold each other's hands to spend a lifetime together while protecting what's precious to them. Shen Jin grew up as the unfavored daughter of a royal family concubine. The emperor decrees an arranged marriage for her, choosing General Chu Shu-ming, who defends the borders. Although she falls in love with her chosen spouse, she finds it difficult to find her place in her new home. And I really, really enjoyed this because basically the female lead she's always been the unfavored sister because she's born out of a concubine. She's not born out of the official wife. And basically the general that she's marrying is known to be supposedly very ugly, supposedly very cold, and just, mean in personality. So I think, her sister is actually meant to marry him, but they get out of it and force Shen Jin to marry him, and to save her mother, and to, she kind of accepts and goes with it, and she kind of thinks, well, this is a way for me to get out of this situation. I will at least be out of the palace. And it's really, really nicely to see her come out of all of that negative and all of that forced things that she was doing in the palace in her family, to then kind of become the lady of the manor in her own right. And then she finds that actually the general isn't horrible and mean. He's just very cold, and there's a whole backstory to him. But yeah, I think this couple worked really, really well. The only thing I would say, this drama is 30 episodes, and there is quite a bit of politicking in it. There's a whole backstory to our male lead and things that he's trying to get done. And I felt like in some places that kind of dragged a little bit. But again, I really, really enjoyed our main couple. So this one does have a slightly, I scored it an 8 out of 10 as well. But again, I do remember that I felt that this one could have done with a couple of episodes chopped off. Even just one or two would have made the plot a little bit tighter. But at points, this one is not as light-hearted of a show. So at some points, you kind of I just want to get back to the main couple and see how they're doing. So yeah, that's the Chinese drama General's Lady. And I just have one drama left for my category for this trope series, and that is the drama The Sword and the Brocade. And that is a 2021 period set drama, and it stars Wallace Chang as Xu Lingyi and Tan Song-yoon as Lu Shi Nyang. This one's available on WeTV, Viki, iQIYI, and Prime Video. Now, this is, if anybody asks me why I went into this drama, my first thing is Tan Song-yoon. That's all I need to know. She's one of those actresses that I will pretty much try anything she's in, at least, give it a couple of episodes. I really, really like her style of acting. I think she does really well in most of her roles. She is famously, not famously, but she played, Jeji, is it Gia? And she played the female lead in Go Ahead, which is one of my all-time favorite dramas. So yeah, I have a very soft spot for Tan Song-yoon. And I was a little bit worried because this one is very heavily influenced by politics. But the difference is, and I kind of realised it even more with this drama, I don't mind politics as long as it's in-house politics and not necessarily like old bearded men going about, evil things. If that makes sense to you. So I quite enjoy when it's like set within the household and it's like family politics almost. So like the concubines and all of that. And that is definitely what this is about. I've put this one at the very end because this one is a much longer drama. It is 45 episodes. I will give it a caveat. It is a very, very, very slow burn drama. Very slow. But I just absolutely loved Tan Song-yoon in it. She's smart and she's brave, and I loved her character in this. I was a bit worried that I didn't think the pairing was going to work, but actually it worked pretty well. Wallace Chung also did a pretty good job in it. I think I don't recall watching him in anything else, I don't think. But I thought the pairing worked quite well. I think there was a little bit of concern at the beginning because they do have a big age gap, but I didn't really, notice it too much, especially it being a period set drama. It kind of works in that way. Anyways, so, it was kind of normal in that era for people to, for younger women to marry older men. But also, this one is a lot based around embroidery, and it is stunning embroidery that we get to see. I'm just going to read the MDL description because I feel like they will, you can just get an idea of whether this is something you'd like to watch or not. But basically, the MDL description reads, set during the Ming Dynasty, the story revolves around the romance between General Xu Lingyi and the concubine's daughter, Shi Yi Niang. That starts from an arranged marriage. Despite being born with a low status, Shi Yi Niang is extremely assertive and believes that a woman's vision should not be limited to the household. She hopes to rely on her embroidery skills as a ticket to freedom. However, the once esteemed Liu family is in the state of decline. Hoping to save the clan through a marriage alliance, Shi Yi Niang is selected to become the wife of Yongping Duke and Great General Xu Lingyi. He basically has both titles. So yeah, things were not easy for her due to the Xu family's biases towards her. Nonetheless, she manages to win over their trust through her optimism and sincerity. Xu Lingyi also becomes attracted to her various beautiful qualities, such that husband and wife manage to find love after marriage. Through Xu Lingyi's support, Shi Yi Niang opens Xian Ling Pavilion to have her own embroidery workshop. Meanwhile, Xu Lingyi experiences many setbacks as he tries to protect his homeland and improve the livelihood of the people by supporting the lifting of a maritime ban. As they face a crisis that could spell the end of the Xu family, Xu Lingyi and Shi Yi Ning contribute to support each other through thick and thin. So basically, I really loved that our female lead had very much her own storyline separate to the male lead. And it's all about her embroidery and her using her embroidery skills to sort of like set herself apart. And I just loved that part of the story. I thought it was done really beautifully. I also absolutely loved that our main pairing kind of went from a place of not knowing each other at all, and they were like pretty cold and indifferent to each other for a very, for a while of the episode. But then they kind of start to grow this partnership, and it starts from this place of mutual respect. And I just feel like their foundation worked really well. They built that foundation of, mutual respect and appreciation for each other. And they kind of built it into this really beautiful relationship at the end. And it's definitely one that starts with marriage. That's very a convenience marriage. Their parents arrange it. Everything goes down for that. But then it turns into one that love can be found after marriage and a true partnership, between wife and husband. So I absolutely loved all of that aspect of this drama. Now, I did score this one a 9 out of 10. So, this one and Business Proposal are the highest rated ones. The one thing I do recall, now this is a 2021 drama. It was, February 2021 was when it aired, and I was watching this as it aired. I do remember the only thing that I kind of glazed my eyes over was the male lead's, efforts with like trying to lift the maritime, or, is it maritime it's called? So he's trying to lift this, maritime ban that the emperor has. And there's a lot of like things going on with that storyline. But that's not the storyline I was invested in. I was invested in our female lead and how she dealt with like the concubines and, doing the household. Because she is a concubine's daughter, she was never quite taught to do any of that. But she's kind of like taught herself, and she keeps surprising people. And I kind of like how, everybody around her kind of like doesn't really want her to do well. So they kind of like try to, get her to look bad or get her to make a mistake, but she rises above them and she has the smarts to see through that. So I had the hugest girl crush on this character. Like, I absolutely loved this female lead so much. But again, the only caveat that I would say for this drama, it is a very, very slow burn. So if that's not your thing, then maybe this one is a skip for you. It is a Ming Dynasty set drama. So you get to see a whole different set of clothing and hair ornaments and, hair styles, because it's set in a very different dynasty to what, most other dramas would be set in, I think. So yeah, but also I think this one is a pretty easy ease into like Chinese historical dramas. There's not so many characters moving around that you won't be able to keep up with it. So if you want to dip your toes into like Chinese dramas, this is kind of one that I initially watched and really, really, really absolutely loved. Again, like I said, loved the female lead. The embroidery in this is absolutely stunning. So stunning. I mean, one of the things that I always comment on is that like I don't necessarily need marriage scenes in, my dramas, but if it's a period set Chinese drama, I want that marriage scene, and it is simply because I want to see the phoenix crowns and I want to see the beautiful red the red marriage clothes with like that gold embroidery on. Like, I'm obsessed. I absolutely love it when dramas do that because it is stunning and it's so, it's very Chinese in tradition. So I absolutely love watching. So for whenever it's, period set, I want those marriage scenes, not necessarily because, I need them. I just want to see all the pretty clothes, basically. So yeah, like I said, I really, really absolutely loved this one for the female lead. She's a very strong character throughout the whole drama. And, the couple kind of grow really well together from mutual respect to kind of like this friendship, and then eventually developed into love. And I feel like their foundation is built so well. And I appreciate that the male lead kind of falls in love with her because how capable she is of doing things. So yeah, he kind of like finds the support that he's been looking for in his wife. And it's like a true partnership in, the true sense of the word. So yeah, like I said, loved it. The only thing I would say, the male leads, what he's trying to deal with was dragged a little bit. If a lot of that was removed, I think I would have scored it even higher if that would have been, not present. But I could not justify scoring it any lower just because I absolutely loved the female lead and like how the story grew and all of that. So that is it. I think that was 10. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 dramas. That was my, it is 10. I was miscounting, clearly. 10. That is what I would say as of right now. So March 2023. That is some of my favorite, or at least, 10 favorite, contract relationship, fake marriage kind of fake relationship, contract marriage dramas. I hope there's something in there that you enjoy. Please let me know. Have you watched any of these? Have you enjoyed any of these? Is there one that you kind of heard me talk about it and now it's made you curious to go and check it out? Or even, is this a trope you enjoy watching? I know not everybody does. For me, it's one of my favorite tropes. So it was only right that it would be the opening trope for the Trope series. Was this an episode you enjoyed? I hope it is. I hope everybody's having a lovely time in their corner of the world and life is treating you well. And like I said, please check out any of the socials. Rate and review the pod if you enjoy it. It'll help the pod a lot. And if you would like to support even more, Patreon is there. Everything is linked in the description. And I hope to see you next time or next week. Bye! This has been another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and you can come and chat to me on Instagram, Tea and Soju Pod, all one word, and on Twitter, tea_soju_pod. You can also email me at teandsojupodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to support this podcast, please consider joining Patreon for extra content. Lastly, if you enjoy this podcast, please help by rating and reviewing wherever you listen to help others find this drama corner. I'll leave everything linked in the description notes. See you next time for more Asian drama chatter.